Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Your host, as usual, Alvaro Nunez here to bring you another exciting guest. This time is going to be about luxury development. And that's why we're going to be heading all the way to Calgary, Alberta, in Canada, to have with us our friend Manzardo Hryszko. She's a luxury costume builder. There she is. What's happening, Melissa? How are you?
I'm cold. I'm not doing as good as you are in warm Florida.
It's not Miami, right? It's not Miami.
It is. It's minus 26 here today. So. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I'm good here. In fact, we were talking this morning. This morning I was flying the helicopter, and it was such a beautiful day over flying Miami, and I'm like, wow, we're so lucky to live here. But I gotta tell you, what you're doing in Calgary is just fantastic. The homes that you're building and the way that you're doing it. What a better place than to be than at your amazing luxury home, right? So,
well, I'm not in my luxury home. I'm in my very old historic office. So since I will never live in a historic home, we have our office in a historic home, which makes us appreciate the new homes that we build because there's proper insulation.
Wow, there you go. Well, first of all, I'm really, really excited about today's call. So I appreciate you that you're taking the time to chat with us, to tell us all about the exciting things that you're doing with your business, Veranda Homes, and how has been really in the last couple of years with this frenetic growth in real estate. So tell us a little bit about what's going on, who are you, what are you working on?
All the fun stuff.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, we're a luxury home builder based up in Calgary, Alberta, the Great White North, where it's, like I said, minus 26 today, no palm trees in sight. Yeah, so every home that we build and design is custom designed on a per client basis. So it's really unique where it's not cookie cutter. We've never done the same thing twice. I hardly even use the same paint colors twice, just because we want to make each home representative of our client, not necessarily what I want, but I want the home to speak to our client and their aesthetic because it's their investment. The market up here has actually been very interesting. So I know during the downturn, during COVID, when the world was ending, we saw a very large downturn up here where a lot of my friends that are builders in the US were seeing a surge. And now I think there's a little bit of a downturn in the States, but we're seeing this surge has now finally come up into our area. Where we are at is very heavily driven by oil and gas. And I feel like that's also helping our economic climate here in Calgary as well for the luxury home market. But it's been a wild ride the last couple of years, not gonna lie. Yeah, which I think it has been for everybody, but it's been great. And we have some, so many amazing homes in the works right now at various stages. We have one that we're getting ready to hand over next month. We have a few that are in sort of the finishing stage where we're building all of the cabinetry and such. And then quite a few at framing, foundation. And yes, guys still do work here outside when it is as cold as it is today. So
wow. Yeah. Now walk me through what's the demand right now in Calgary? Like, who are the majority of people that want to work with you?
Well, it honestly, it varies. Like the homes that we have under construction right now vary from about 1.5 million just for the home, not including land, all the way up to over 7 million. So we build a very large range, price range, scale, finishing. My husband always says, he's like, he has no ego when it comes to building homes. Whatever is what we'll build and what we'll deliver. But one thing that we can guarantee is we're going to deliver the best quality, top-notch service, during the process and after the process and everything else. Yeah, I mean, it's actually really interesting, and I love it because each home is so unique and so individual. I'll go to one home that's 3,000 square feet above grade, and then the next job site I'm going to is 6,500 square feet above grade, over twice the size. And one home is going to be very traditional, have a lot of more old world European detailings, where the other one is going to be very modern with, just blow your mind type of detailing, Rita detailing, honed marble, brass, whatever. Each one is so different. So it makes my job as the lead designer very interesting, keeps me on my toes. It is, though. It's a lot of fun, and always trying, and I don't want to use the word trend, but trying to stay ahead of the trends is basically what, we can say. I always say, like, we don't build to the trends. Like, you can look through our website and I think a lot of people would have a hard time, number one, picking out which home is of what value, and
Right.
two, which home was built when. We're all about designing homes that have a classic appeal that will last the test of time. Our previous home that we lived in was, I think it's now almost 12 years old. And if I were to show
Okay.
it to people today, they'd be like, I still
Right.
love it. Let's do it. I mean, a
Yeah.
few little tweaks here and
Timeless.
there.
Yeah. And now it's becoming to be, I want a pickleball in my home. Like
Golf
I want a
simulator.
paddle court.
Yeah.
So are you getting any of those specific
Oh,
trends
yeah.
at the moment?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, more and more homes are having golf simulators installed, especially with our climate. I mean, we have a very short exterior golfing season. And the great thing with a lot of these golf simulators that we use is they're multifunctional. So you can actually add on shooting games, hockey, football,
Right.
soccer, baseball, all this stuff. So it's not just for, the golfer in the home. It's actually for everybody. I'm not a golfer. We have one, but I will admit after one too many martinis, I like going and shooting
That's
zombies
it.
on it. Yeah. It's fun. So the golf simulator has certainly been something that we're starting to see in a lot more of our homes and is heavily requested. We have one home that's in design right now that kind of, as you were speaking of the wellness aspect, has a beautiful home gym with a sauna, a cold plunge pool is installed in it, and then it leads to an outdoor hot tub and pool area. So there's many factors and many things that are coming into it. And I think people have realized, during that lockdown, our home is more than just a home. It has to be our safe space and our sanctuary.
100%.
And if you're going to make the investment, make it exactly what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Now, how do you stay relevant in such a competitive industry? How do you get leads? How do you maintain that peak performance?
So everything that we get lead-wise is repeat and referral. So it comes down to our reputation. Our reputation is how we stay relevant in this industry and especially in this market. We really pride ourselves on the way that we treat our clients throughout the entire build process and after the build process. If a client comes to us and says, we had one client who bought a home with us 19 years ago, and they're like, oh, we just want to do a few little things here and there. We'll facilitate that for you. Obviously, there's going to be a cost associated with it. Like, we can't do the work for free, but we will go in, we will facilitate that for you. We will handle that for them. And that's the way it is with every single client. And I think that that goes above and beyond what I think some other builders in the city do. But the one thing to note is an unhappy client will tell 1,000 people. A happy client will tell a small handful. So it's all about treating each client, basically like they're priceless.
Has been social media also a good driving force for
Absolutely.
business?
I mean, I think we can all agree that, don't listen to me, Instagram, but Instagram is not what it was a couple of years ago. Growth was much easier even a year ago than what it is now. It is a full-time job. I handle all the social media. I reply to every single DM. I reply to most comments I can, scheduling all the posts, making the reels, everything else.
So you have a lot of full-time jobs.
Yes, many. And a mom. Don't forget being a mom too, and a wife. But social media has really impacted us because, and we have gotten leads from that because we're able to showcase our work, and people are like, I've been following you for years. Like, now we're finally ready to build. Let's talk. And it's absolutely, let's go. Let's chat. So it is, awesome. Even though the growth is painful at the moment, and some days I just want to kind of like throw in the towel, it's still pushing forward, staying consistent with it. And getting more of these leads from social media, whether it's Instagram or on Facebook. I'm trying really hard on TikTok. I am too old and I don't understand it. And the comments that you get on there, I don't know if these people
they're brutal. They're brutal.
Oh my, it's
like
insane.
Or say like all this crazy stuff. I'm telling you.
And I'm like I posted one a couple of weeks ago about hardwood in a bathroom, and this person was just like, nope, stupid. And I'm like, actually, it's not. I do it a lot of home. Nope, it's stupid. If you have kids, you can't do it. I'm like, well, I have 2 kids, and I've done it in the last 3 homes. But then I'm like, do I really want to be arguing with this
zero.
person?
Just like thumbs up, and that's it. I'll tell you though, because TikTok, the interesting thing is that it still has that element of virality that it's more difficult than any other platform. So I like TikTok for that reason, because Instagram, it's harder, as you said, to grow at that level. And the traffic that you can generate from TikTok to your Instagram account or YouTube or your website is huge. So even though you get those stupid comments, us at a super luxury group, we've had like now some recent videos that finally are getting like 8 million views, 5 million views, 3 million views, where it takes a while. It's the compound effects, it's the consistency.
Yeah.
But
and I do know the only reason I started doing Instagram is the gentleman that does a lot of our drone videos and aerials and everything else, he did one of our own personal home and he posted on TikTok and it had over like, you know, almost like 2 million likes or I don't know, anyways, whatever. And I was like, oh, this thing's kind of going viral. I'm like, maybe I should get on TikTok and like write the coattail of this. But then as I'm reading through, it's like all these people that are my kids' ages talking about how they want to build this home in Minecraft. And I'm like, no, you're not my client. You're not my client. You're not my client. But you may be my client one day. So maybe I should stick with it.
That's funny. That's funny. Now let's talk about what's been the biggest obstacle that you've faced throughout all these years and what did you learn from it?
Biggest obstacle, honestly, it's all about life balance, and it's something that I'm not good at, and it's something that I'm still struggling with. Having 2 teenage sons and owning this company and working with my husband, you know, it's a very fine line of when we get home at night, the work stops. You know, even though for the last like week and a half, we've been getting home at 7 o'clock at night, and it's like I'm ordering, you know, dinner for my kids on the way home on the phone, and then get there, and it's like sit down with a glass of wine, and you just want to like decompress. But it's all about finding that life balance. So one thing that we've really started to do is taking at least a weekend every month where we log off, we zone out, it's about connect time with the boys, us, and everything. Because I mean, time is passing by. Like I almost have a 17-year-old son and a 15-year-old son, and I'm like, where are these babies at? Like now, like, you know, my oldest son is graduating high school next year, and I'm like, how is this even possible? And I'm thinking, like, now we're talking to him about what do you want to do in university? What do you want to do for a career? And I'm just like, how am I having this conversation with this human that I created?
I wanted to ask you just a couple more things because I know you're also super busy. So I wanted to ask you something that we ask all our guests, which is, what is the definition of luxury for you?
Definition of luxury for me, it really comes down to, I think, just, and it's not necessarily a price point in my mind. I mean, granted, I like my luxury items, don't get me wrong. But for me, luxury is something that's unique to you, and it speaks to you and what you want. So that's why I feel like every single home that we build is truly a luxury home, because it is exactly what you have in your mind or what I have in my mind for you, but it's handcrafted specifically for you. It's one of a kind. It's something that nobody else has. It was painstakingly put together by best craftsmen in the industry, and handed over, you know, with kid gloves. So for me, that's what luxury really is. It's you know, like I said, it's not necessarily a designer handbag or designer jewelry. If you're giving it to me, though, I'll take it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is probably the best way that I personally would describe luxury.
That's amazing. So the last question for you, if you will have to start over again, would you change anything?
No, I wouldn't. You know, I always live my life saying have absolutely no regrets in life, and I'm a firm believer in that.
I like that.
And, you know, I've had some pretty interesting meetings. I always believe that everybody leads you, you know, down a certain path and everything else. So I look at the path that got me to where I am today, and yeah, I wouldn't change anything. You know, I lived in New York City twice, left twice, and because I left, I'm in the situation I'm in now, in the position I'm in now, and I couldn't be happier. So no regrets, no changes, just pushing forward.
I love it. I love it. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, work with you, where can they find you aside from Instagram? What's the best way?
Instagram, TikTok. So, like, you know, we're still treading water over there. We do have Miranda Homes Facebook page, and obviously we have a great website that I also helped build and design as well. And lots of guests on there. Upcoming projects are also showcased on there as well too. So.
Well, I encourage everybody to follow Melissa and what she's doing, because it's fantastic. Congratulations on what you're doing. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure to talk to you too, even though it was like, you know, back and forth.
If you cannot handle the cold, you can always come to Miami. It's always nice.
I will be be giving you a ring when I need to thaw out, and you can take me around for a helicopter ride and show me some of the beautiful properties all around my house.
With pleasure, with pleasure. That's what we do.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me today. It was such a pleasure to finally connect in person, at least over the phone. So thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. And thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.